How can we live longer? Is it possible to stretch time? If we experience more, will we live longer? Can time be slowed down?
If not, how to manage it effectively? Hello Olson. How was your day yesterday?
Hello Bragg. Terrible. I was at a very boring meeting. 1 hour seemed like a whole day.
Really? I spent the day playing with my family. The day has gone in a blink of an eye.
Guys, you should know that time is relative.
June, we do know it.
I love how Albert Einstein explained it. When you sit with a nice girl for 2 hours it seems like 2 minutes.
When you sit on a hot stove for 2 minutes it seems like 2 hours. That was me who sat on a hot stove yesterday.
Apparently. Simply saying when you like doing something, time will speed up. When you need to do a boring thing, time can slow down.
So attitude is everything. And in my case what matters are well-managed meetings. Does it mean that we need to sit on a hot stove to slow time down? Fortunately not. Listen to our researcher June, please.
David Eagleman, a neuroscientist who studies time perception, calls time a rubbery thing that changes based on mental engagement. He says that time can slip by because we are blindly going through the routine of our day. He adds, there are a range of remedies for this situation. Some people may feel a sense of accomplishment if they set personal goals for themselves and work towards them in a purposeful way.
June, good point. This way we can link slowing time with setting goals and achieving them.
We need to remember that we should do that in a purposeful way. This way we avoid sitting on a hot stove.
By the way, we have some jokes about slowing time for you guys. Stay with us. Let's summarize. Time is relative. We already know about it. Hot stoves and nice girls or boys example demonstrates it well. Scientists tell us that to slow time down we can set ourselves meaningful goals, working towards them. Another theory says that, putting it in a simple way, the more different things we do the slower time passes. No matter which method of slowing time we choose, everybody would agree that to slow time we need to plan it. Thus we have jumped to a conclusion that time management is a basic skill to use time effectively. So this is a time to talk about managing time. Look at time from a perspective of using it effectively. Putting aside, just for a while, Albert Einstein's time relativity theory, let's ask ourselves one simple question. Did we feel our life is getting longer if we could make twice as much things within it? If your answer is yes, our tips how to manage time effectively are just for you.
Change out of to on. A small difference that matters.
Olson, have you read any book on time management?
Yes, I have read many books on this subject.
Probably like many of you, I still catch myself planning too ambitious and sometimes facing a real challenge to meet certain deadlines.
Me too. Why does it happen to so many of us?
This time I will tell you a story. I made a very useful exercise which I often perform when teaching how to manage time. These guys behind me have been assigned with a task, which is composed of 10 subtasks, and I have asked them to put the subtasks in correct order to achieve the main goal. But the participants' main task is to provide an estimate on how much time they do need for completing the main task. After a short break, I have asked them to provide estimates of how much time they need to complete each and every subtask, and to sum these amounts. So the key difference here is between estimating the time for the holistic goal versus estimating the time for each of the subtasks. Participants are later asked to compare their two estimates. What do you think is the result of this calculation? I have never seen a single case in which the second calculation would be the same as the first one. What usually happens is that the time which is calculated, without taking into consideration the time needed for completing each subtask separately, is shorter than the one coming from adding individual subtask times.
That was a really good example how we think. Thank you, June.
People usually underestimate the time needed for completion when looking at the problem without taking into consideration its parts.
So if you want to avoid in-time planning traps like the one June talked about, stick to the rules we are recommending.
If we agree that to stretch time, our brain needs many different experiences, mastering time management skills is a good way to do so.
Always secure enough time for your planning. Disaster in planning is planning a disaster.
Never ever plan on basis of assumptions. If you need to know why, watch our program, How to Avoid Bad Decisions.
Always be very detailed in specifying all subtasks you need to perform to complete a task or a milestone. Calculate the time each and every subtask needs to be done in full and on time.
Never accept big project timings without sleeping on them. If you are an owl, decide in evenings. If you are a lark, use mornings for big decisions.
And now it's time for jokes about time. As promised.
I have one about time relativity. A woman tells her friend that she feels like time is always speeding up and running out. Is there anything I can do? She asks. Yes, there is, the friend replies. You could marry a tax accountant. How will that help me? The woman asks. The friend replies. It will make you feel like an eternity.
It was good. Now my turn. A woman hears knocking on the door. She opens the door and sees a snail on the threshold. She bends down, picks it up, and tosses it away onto the lawn. A month passes and the woman hears knocking on the door again. When she opens the door, she sees a snail on the threshold. The snail looks at her and says, "But what did you mean?" We hope you enjoyed our program.
Click subscribe button to make sure that you will be notified about all our upcoming episodes.
Keep practicing what you have learned. Remember, perfect practice makes perfect. We are looking forward to see you again.
See you soon.
And you've been watching 6 Minutes, or a Little More, with Brega and Olsen.